Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CyberGPT Pulse podcast, your source for the latest insights into ever evolving world of cybersecurity and cutting edge technologies. So, I'm your host, Muhammad Ilyas Ahmed.
I'm your co-host Sayyid Amiruddin.
Let's jump right into today's episode. So, it's all about MGM Hotel Group breach in Vegas. So, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, the global hospitality and entertainment company MGM Resorts International faced a significant disruption when a criminal organization known as Scattered Spider, also referred to as Roasted Octopus or Storm 0875, uh, they orchestrated a social engineering attack, nearly causing a complete halt to the company's operations. And MGM Resorts International boasts a portfolio of multiple hotel and resort properties such as Bellagio, MGM Grand, and Mandalay Bay. They had a series of social engineering attacks. The threat actor managed to infiltrate the MGM environment and establish a solid presence. So this was made possible by a widespread error of reusing passwords. Cybersecurity experts suspect that the attackers possessed usernames and passwords obtained from prior data breaches. The long story short, their aim was to deceive the help desk into resetting the user's multi-factor authentication so that they can ultimately succeeded ultimately succeed in doing it, and but they finally succeeded in getting penetrating into the MGM grant system. According to the information currently at hand, it has been observed that the threat actors took steps to establish a lasting presence with MGM's network. They accomplished this by setting up an entirely separate identity provider, IDP, with the Okta tenant, um, which employing a feature known as inbound federation. So this feature is typically designated to facilitate the rapid integration of different Okta tenants during the corporate merger and acquisition. That being said, in this particular instance, the threat actors exploited it to ensure that they enhance their authority over the victim's network, like in this case, the MGM's network. Then the hackers managed to gain control not just over Okta, but also over the Microsoft Azure cloud ecosystem. Uh, then this presented a substantial threat to the applications which are under the purview of the identity and access management platform, but also placed all the cloud assets in a very vulnerable state. So yeah, so that was a long story short of what happened in the back end of the MGM Grand. Uh,
So as we understand, there are two interesting factors in the attack. First is social network, and as the late Kevin Matnick, who recently passed, always says that the best way to hack a network or a system is to ask them for the access, and that's where social engineering comes around. And uh, and interestingly, Okta. So when you are talking about the cross tenet impersonation, which was used to get the delegate role associated with the compromised IDP, and then IDP's role was actually used as a super admin for as a super admin privilege task done. So one of the blocks Okta released in October, I think is what it was 20th October recently, and that blog was specifically targeting to how to prevent and detect such impersonation attack. And recently they have just removed that block. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, I think the main after the main understanding of the attack, the next big thing is to understand how to mitigate or how should have Okta and any other organization who are using such a third party identity provider or any third party vendor, what should they do? for preventing themselves from such an attack is the first thing is always in this case to contain to look into the how to contain such an impact. So here the focus can be understanding the main target of attack was privileged accounts, and containing the exposure is quite critical. So for that, use of PAM solutions are one of the critical thing, which is, and just not just having any PAM solution. You have to just also as a organization, you have to investigate that PAM solution is actually covering the least privilege principle, as well as implementing the zero standing privileges, ultimately ensuring the user are only having the minimum access required. So saying that, there is another issue of having social engineering attacks. So for those, the best practices of IDP need to be adopted by the IDP themselves. So the identity provider uh, plays a key role here in access control of such an organization. And one of the best practices could be having help desk verification control, just having a callback to the company to verify, or having a strict RBAC data control. The sensitive information need to be only accessed by a certain privileged role. So these kind of things actually ensure, and also and also monitoring the trust change boundary. These kind of things are actually very vital to enhance the overall security of IDP. Apart from that, improving the outlook. So as I was talking about the criticality of exposure, so that is always need to be monitored by a visible control. The visibility need to be monitored through the SIM in the organization, and that SIM will be regularly reviewing, monitoring the any kind of MFA change configuration, and can flag the suspicious activity quickly. So that will be one of the powerful defense, although it's not foolproof, but it should be at least enforced in the organization. And then another one could be having having to protect the tier zero assets, and through the endpoint privilege security. So as tier zeros are the crown jewel of any organization, implementing the EDR privilege control has help in safeguarding those critical resources. So first, the asset identification is does play a critical role, which need to be done, and then we can have the organization can have checks and balance to monitor those critical resources for with higher priority. So apart from that, just again as so as a with more and more third party organizations, third party vendors coming into the organization, the trust relationship is been also sometimes exploited by organization. Like in this one, the trust in the access granted through the IDP from getting delegated into a role was given the cloud, the Microsoft Cloud services access because of the trust already been built. But that trust need to be always regularly monitored. If any trust chain, like in this attack, the trust chain was delegating a new role for previous new privilege for a previous role. So that these kind of change in the trust need to be also monitored through the network by the organization, and this can lead to early detection of these breaches. So these are a couple of learnings for the cybersecurity domain as well as the organization. So finally, my thoughts will be that series of mistakes do did happen in this organization, and then does are visible and brand damaging for the for organization as big as MGM, or which had their 28 of resorts shut down for 6 to 7 days at least, and still they are still right now the customers are not supremely confident to have a booking there, or even having used their casino services. So you might lose money. We don't know. Once you are playing, you might in the game you might find out that the network is down and which happened there, and your game is lost, and as well as there's no accountability what amount you invested and what should be returned. So it's kind of a bloody line. Your fund might be stuck up for a long time. So this kind of reputation damage is already there. And yeah, uh, uh, as many of the organization are assessing this, and specifically these entertainment industries. So in the future, I do see a huge change to the outlook of having their cybersecurity asset identification as management in the better way as they are currently doing. So with the mitigation measures I propose, these are the few one which need to be initially imposed, and any organization can start from that. So that's kind of the final thoughts. And apart from that, I think that's bring us to the closing of our this episode. So moving forward from here, in each episode we will be now exploring latest cyber threats, discussing strategy to stay safe online, delving into ground breaking technologies, whether it be AI, blockchain, and other these impacts of these technology on cybersecurity, on the digital outlook. So whether you are a IT professional, a business owner, or someone just curious or passionate because of some security incident happened, so you are quite welcome. This podcast is your go-to resource. So buckle up for as we embark on this journey throughout the understanding the threats and opportunity as they lie ahead. So don't forget to subscribe, because the Cyber's GPT Pulse podcast channel will electrify your cybersecurity knowledge.
Well, while we didn't possess all the solutions today, but we did have all the valuable ideas that could make a meaningful differences. So yeah, this is your host Muhammad Ilyas signing off. So stay secure out there, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Yep, stay secure and stay hungry, and we will catch you in the next episode.